I'm here at my home base, Manchester Airport. It's early in the morning, but I'm not taking an early flight. No, I'm taking the tram, and I'm going to fly around the Greater Manchester conurbation on the Metrolink network. I'm interested in seeing the views from the tram, and I want to see how many notable landmarks we go past, how many interesting places Metrolink can take us to.
There are flights to Beauvais, Alicante and Milan, but we're going to go to Bury, Altrincham, Manchester City Centre and beyond. I'm going to touch in and touch out with my image capture device, my iPhone. The journeys will hopefully be capped. If you touch in before 7 AM, you can get the off-peak day ticket fare of £4.90. And there's our first ride, and we are heading for Bury. The Metrolink line to Manchester Airport was completed in 2014. Now heading east, the tram passes near the top of runway 23 right. No planes on final approach at the moment. We continue via Shadow Moss through the centre of Wythenshawe. That's Wythenshawe Interchange, similar to others with its oval shapes and large windows. Those drawings are by the artist Len Grant, and that's one of the battery-powered buses. The tram meanders through Wythenshawe, first heading east, then north, then west, past the Manchester College Wythenshawe campus, along Holyhedge Road, crossing over the M56, and not long after, over the River Mersey. A Hardy Lane extension was once planned to cross the Mersey here. Now Metrolink makes that crossing. Now we're in Chorlton cum Hardy. That's the building where I had my first teaching job, teaching German to adult learners. We pass by Chorlton Park and Hough End Hall, now revealed thanks to the demolition of a modern building. We're passing the Metrolink depot at Old Trafford, and there are great views over Salford and across the Manchester Ship Canal. In front of us is the development area, Pomona Island. There's Vista River Gardens next to the River Irwell, part of Trinity Island, which I featured previously. It's risen several stories since I was last there. That's the Castlefield Viaduct that's hoping to become a sky garden. We're crossing over Deansgate into Deansgate Castlefield Metrolink stop, then St Peter Square, Mosley Street, Piccadilly, Market Street, the Transport Interchange, New Victoria Apartments and Victoria Station with its magnificent canopy, completed in 2015. We're heading north past Queen's Road Metrolink depot. This was previously a British rail line until it was incorporated into the first phase of Metrolink, which opened in 1992. Metrolink has 99 stops along 64 miles or 103 kilometres of standard gauge track. It's the most extensive light rail system in the country. Some lines are former railway lines, others are purpose-built on-street tracks. That's the M60 motorway, effectively part of the M62. Bury is the home of the East Lancs Railway, one of my favourite attractions, where you can take a steam train and go back in time. There's the entrance to Bury Metrolink Station, and that's the 135 bus to Manchester, just departing. Our next destination is Altrincham. We are heading south out of Bury, and that's the Premier Inn Manchester Bury Hotel, with its crazy yellow windows. It's a fresh early November morning. The sun shines with glittering rays. Before us lies the wide valley of the River Irwell, which meanders down by Salford and Manchester into the Ship Canal. That's the view west. Interesting industrial building with its sawtooth roof. More red brick houses, trees, playing fields, Queen's Road Metrolink depot, and now Victoria Riverside, a new development of 634 new apartments and townhouses on a former industrial site next to the railway, just north of the city centre. I featured it previously. And a little further on, the Green Quarter, built in the 2000s, also on former industrial land. We skip south across the city centre and we're on the line heading towards Altrincham. We're stopping at Cornbrook, an important interchange stop. We pass Old Trafford Cricket Ground. The line runs parallel to the Bridgewater Canal, through Stretford and Sale and on to Altrincham in the borough of Trafford. Formerly, this was the line to Chester, and it was incorporated into Metrolink for its first phase completed in 1992. The doors of the trams are level with the station platforms, and so on-street stops have to have raised platforms, which take up space. We are about to arrive in Altrincham, in the historic county of Cheshire. That's the A560 flyover with a distinctive row of terraced houses. In Altrincham station, there are some wonderful murals. That's the Bedford Val single-decker bus. I rode around Altrincham on that bus as a child. Codebreaker Alan Turing once lived in Altrincham. So who owns Metrolink? It's owned by Transport for Greater Manchester, and it's operated and maintained under contract by RATP Dev Group. That's the Paris Transport Authority.
We've reached Altrincham. I used to live here with my sister. Very happy memories of being here. A very nice town. And here we can see that the interchange stands right next to the station. I photographed it when this new building opened a few years ago. And of course here we have the iconic clock tower. So I remember when the bus station was actually across the road before that shopping centre was built. And then it moved over next to the station. And in later years they built this new building.
It's very attractive, and it's a true interchange where you can switch between buses, trains and trams. The new modern concourse has been attached to the front of the red brick 19th century railway station, and it looks great. The station is award-winning, and so is Altrincham. Unfortunately, we see evidence of antisocial behaviour with a smashed window. Here is our ride to our next destination, Ashton-under-Lyne. Next stop after the level crossing is Navigation Road Station. Metrolink trams on one side, trains to and from Chester on the other. Skelton Junction is used by the trains between Manchester, Stockport and Chester. Pre-Metrolink, I once had to commute by train and bus between Altrincham and North Manchester. It was very inconvenient. If only Metrolink had arrived sooner. Now we are cruising along parallel to the Bridgewater Canal, past Sale and into Stretford, and there are new apartments under construction between the rail line and the canal. Now we are at Old Trafford Cricket Ground. The trams often carry large numbers of people to and from both football and cricket matches. There's the Metrolink depot again at Old Trafford, and a building I featured previously, Vox. Heading north now, looking over the apartments on St George's Island, Kelso Place, built in the 2000s, and here's the view from one of the apartments towards the airport. We're crossing the A57 Mancunian Way, and there are the famous skyscrapers, Elizabeth Tower and Deansgate Square. New residential rising up out of old industrial. Deansgate Castlefield Station gives access to First Street and Home Manchester, just opposite Hacienda Apartments. We pass the Britain's Protection pub and the site of that unbuilt tower, which I featured previously. Here's the Bridgewater Hall and my photo of one of the old trams. The original blue T68 trams were replaced with yellow M5000 trams. They entered service in 2009. Now Princess Street, Manchester Art Gallery, the Portico Library, Piccadilly Plaza. We enter Piccadilly Gardens, where countless buses arrive and depart. No groovy overly interchange here, just a few bus shelters. There was a covered bus station here, as we can see in my photo from 1991, but it was taken down to make way for Metrolink. Now we are heading east, past the Church of St Cross, Clayton Hall, the Concord Suite, Droylsden, speeding across Ashton Moss, more like the US, and IKEA, a little bit of Sweden, past Aldi, the German discounter, flying the Union flag, and we are at the recently built Ashton-under-Lyne interchange in the borough of Tameside. The Metrolink stop opened in 2013. I used the previous bus station frequently, and once upon a time travelled by bus to a summer job in a factory not far from here. Not a nice memory. Today we have the new interchange, more rectilinear than others, with a covered concourse like a small airport. A foretaste of Stockport interchange. Time to head from the east to the west and Eccles. The long, straight A662 Ashton Old Road is well suited to trams because it's long and straight, and there is space for tram stops with platforms. Main buses had their depot near here. It was also ideal for trolleybuses, withdrawn in 1966, and the last Old Manchester tram ran in 1949. We pass Sport City, the Etihad Stadium and Etihad Campus. Etihad means Federation in Arabic. Now we're passing New Islington, the Chips building, and it's raining as we pass through the city centre. Soon we are in Salford Quays with its wide stretches of water. We arrive at Eccles Interchange, completed in 2000. Metrolink to Eccles also opened in the year 2000. 10 minutes is not enough time in Eccles, but we need to continue. And soon we are in MediaCityUK.
Well, this is a top flight Metrolink destination. It's Media City, part of Salford Quays. And there's Media City behind with the BBC. And right around we have a range of great attractions, all accessible via this stop.
From MediaCityUK we cross the Manchester Ship Canal to Pomona tram stop, where we change and head for the Trafford Centre, past wide watery vistas, the Imperial War Museum, and across Trafford Park Industrial Estate to
the Trafford Centre. Long time since I've been here. I always used to drive here, but now that we have the tram, we don't really have to.
There's no time for shopping, as I need to head to the city centre. Trafford Park is a mixture of leisure and industrial. And what is that factory over there? It's ITV's Coronation Street Studios. Raindrops are on the windows. It does sometimes rain in Manchester, and there's a rainbow. From our tram, it's an endless moving panorama of the city, and I think it's fantastic.
We are now approaching Cornbrook. where you can change for services to Manchester Airport, East Didsbury and Altrincham.
We change at Deansgate Castlefield, and today's journey ends at the transport interchange, where I'm meeting my wife Anne off the coach from Glasgow.
Well, I am well and truly maxed out on Metrolink. I've lost track of how many trams I've travelled on, how many miles or kilometres I've travelled. It's all kind of merged into a yellowy grey blur. But all that remains to be done, East Didsbury and Rochdale, and we'll do those tomorrow. We are at East Didsbury, the end of the line. Stockport is 3 miles that way with its new interchange, but no tram connection yet. It's in planning, and I'll look at that in another video. So now we're going to head towards Rochdale. The trams here are going as far as Freehold.
Plenty of railway heritage around here. The Metrolink line runs under the Style line, which is the quickest route to and from the airport. Up till the 1960s, trains ran along this line between Manchester's Central Station and London. It became part of Metrolink in 2013. Entering the city centre now, we can see under construction the major project by developer Downing next to the Mancunian Way, which I featured previously. The information displays say Rochdale Town Centre, but the trams are only going to Freehold due to engineering work. There are rail replacement buses in operation. We pass Debenham's former department store on Market Street. It's under renovation. Must take a closer look at that. To the north of the city centre, it's like a wilderness of trees and former industrial land that's been taken over by nature again. But this is going to be a massive new riverside park along the River Irk. We're going to jump back in time now to 2012. The first operational tram to Oldham was carrying mostly Metrolink staff, with some members of the public. All the tram stops look pristine. Nice views over houses, like in an L.S. Lowry painting. Let's jump forward in time to the present day. Those houses look mostly the same, though my image capture device is of much better quality. Now we're gathering speed. I love that whooshing sound of wheels on rails. We crossed the M60 motorway, and the townscape around here is very much dominated by old mills, factory buildings, dating from the 19th century, when Oldham was boom town. It's back to 2012, and we stop at Freehold. What's that large derelict mill with the tall chimney? It's the iconic Hertford Mill, and what does it look like today? It's been demolished, including the chimney, as documented in the video by Martin Zero, link below.
Smoking is not permitted on Metrolink trams and platforms. This includes the use of e-cigarettes. Anybody caught breaking the Metrolink bylaws may be liable for a fine of up to £1,000 and may be prosecuted.
I decided to return 3 days later to complete the journey by tram to Rochdale. More magnificent mills, and let's just go back to 2012. The tram is stopping at Oldham Mumps, but this was a temporary stop. Later they built the tracks along Union Street, and that's the permanent location of Oldham Mumps stop. There have been many changes around here. There are magnificent derelict buildings, and we can see the iconic former NatWest Bank. Now the tram heads north, rejoining the old railway line. More townscapes and semi-rural landscapes before we arrive in the venerable town of Rochdale in the ancient county of Lancashire. That's Rochdale Town Hall on the left, and not far away, the Rochdale Pioneers Museum, home of the worldwide cooperative movement. Just across the River Roch, there's the magnificent Rochdale Central Library, superb inside like a big airport. Inside Rochdale Interchange, we have the familiar closed concourse area with shops, seating and access to the buses. The view from above is striking. We head back along Drake Street. Wherever light rail systems are built, they always bring connectivity, opportunity and prosperity. Discuss in 1,000 words, and don't forget to quote your sources. We pass the iconic St John the Baptist Roman Catholic Church, the old fire station and the railway station. We're looking east towards the Pennines and into Yorkshire, passing Pennine-style stone houses, another magnificent mill, moving from semi-rural to urban past more historic mills. I made this photo collage inspired by the old days, looking out over Chadderton. We are back at Freehold and continue with footage shot on the Saturday as we head south into Manchester. There's a glimpse of the skyline from the northwest and then from the north as we move along the green wilderness that's going to become an urban park. On the far left is Swan Street Tower, then Moda Angel Gardens. Deansgate Square is in the distance with the Beetham Hilton Tower, then the CIS Tower, in front of it One Angel Square, Victoria Riverside under construction, and the two new Victoria buildings next to Victoria Station. On that Saturday, trams weren't using the second city centre crossing, but here's some footage I shot earlier. Coming out of Victoria Station, there's heavy traffic on Corporation Street, then Exchange Square and the long stretch via Cross Street and Princess Street past the Town Hall, still under renovation, and into St Peter's Square, and on down Lower Mosley Street and up the ramp to Deansgate Castlefield stop. 12 minutes later, we arrive at St Werburgh's Road in Chorlton, where I need to leave the tram for today. Unfortunately, the contactless phone thing didn't work out. I lost track and ended up paying more. I think it's better to use a card, or maybe just buy a ticket. I returned on Sunday the 19th of November to complete the journey to the airport. It was very wet and drizzly. We turn right onto the branch to the airport and make our way down Hardy Lane at a fairly slow pace. We cross the River Mersey and the M60, here looking anti-clockwise, on the south side that means east, into Wythenshawe, through Northern Moor, crossing over the A560, the M56 motorway, here looking north, past Greenwood Road, back along Long Straight Holyheads Road, past the 3 blocks of flats, onto Brownlee Road, through Wythenshawe Town Centre and Shadow Moss Road.
This is a service to Manchester Airport. The next stop will be Manchester Airport.
And there's Ryanair from Tenerife on final approach as we make our final approach into the station. The journey from St Werburgh's Road was exactly 35 minutes. So how far have I travelled? How many landmarks have I passed? How many roads, rivers and canals have I crossed? I haven't a clue, but I'll do a tally later, so just look in the description.
Well, I'm back here at home base. It's been a fantastic journey on Manchester's Metrolink. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, post a comment and tell others about it. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und auf Wiedersehen in Manchester.